Lord Empey, thank you very much for joining us on Trade Finance Talks TV. So if you could introduce yourself, who are you, where are you from, and what do you do?
Lord Empey, I'm a member of the House of Lords. I come from Northern Ireland and I'm a former Trade Minister in Belfast.
Great, so former UUP leader, you question the DUP's support for Boris's new Brexit proposals. Why so?
Well, first of all, on the 2nd of October, the Prime Minister produced the first iteration of his new agreement. And in fact, the DUP supported that. And that agreement contained a border in the Irish Sea, but it was a regulatory border, and it made it clear that Northern Ireland would remain in the single market. Now, once you accept the border in the Irish Sea, it was inevitable, and some of us pointed this out, that there'd be a customs dimension to that. So the Prime Minister then produced the proposal that is now in front of us for a customs border, which in practice means that although the United Kingdom as a whole is one customs territory, in practice the UK has decided that in Northern Ireland the EU customs regime will apply. So while we're legally within the UK customs territory, from a day-to-day practical purpose, we're in an EU customs territory.
Great. And this is different to Theresa May's deal?
This is radically different to Theresa May's deal, which ensured that the entire United Kingdom was in both the same regulatory and the same customs territory and operating the same customs rules. So there was no division between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom.
And what does the current Brexit deal mean exactly for Northern Ireland, and what should businesses gauge from this?
Well, I think it was obvious from the appearance of the Brexit Secretary before a House of Lords committee on Monday, the 21st of October, that even he perhaps hadn't grasped the fact that because we're operating an EU customs regime in Northern Ireland, companies sending goods to Great Britain, which is where most of our business goes, over 60% of it, are going to have to declare that to the authorities. We already knew that goods going in the opposite direction definitely had to do that, because you would then have to have this complicated process, which isn't really worked out, that if you're sending goods from Great Britain to Northern Ireland, if some of those products have the potential to go on into the Irish Republic, either in whole or as part of other manufacturers, then tariffs might be applicable, but certainly declarations will have to be made, and that could be subject to checks.
Great. So you said in a recent interview, I believe that those in Northern Ireland who voted to leave the EU never imagined that goods coming from Scotland, England and Wales would have to be checked before they came into Northern Ireland. They never foresaw and were promised no border in the Irish Sea. Please can you explain this a little bit further?
Well, basically, during the referendum, and indeed subsequently, right up until 2 weeks ago, the idea of having a border in the Irish Sea was completely a non-issue. Prime Minister May made it clear in 2017 that she had 6 tests that she had applied. And one of those was clearly that there would be no differentiation in regime between any part of the United Kingdom. There'd be free and unfettered access to the Great Britain market from Northern Ireland. That was one of the principal building blocks of her negotiations with Brussels. Now that's gone. And in fact, what shocked people in the last couple of weeks was the idea that, in fact, as the Brexit Secretary had to correct himself, goods going west to east are now going to have to be notified. So that is a completely new dimension to anything that people contemplated 3 years ago.
And what are your recommendations on the Brexit deal that you're currently debating in the House?
Well, the one that is currently in Parliament, I can't support it. My party can't support it. We feared and warned people who indicated they had great influence that this is the direction that they taking us. They wouldn't listen, but that's politics. And I think the irony of all of this is that Prime Minister May's deal was bad and all as it was, is better for Northern Ireland than the one that's on the table at the moment. So, I mean, who could have made that up?
Yeah, excellent. Lord Empey, thank you very much for joining us on Trade Finance Talks TV.
Thank you.